Happy Movement Monday, Mob. You guys voted, and this week I'm showing you a neck mobility drill. And since a lot of you probably work at desk or sit for long periods of time throughout the day, I'm gonna show you a simple drill we can do sitting down. And also, if you have a lot of shoulder tension, stay tuned for next week's YouTube video. So with this routine, I'm gonna show you 3 of my favorite moves that I give to a majority of my desk workers or anyone that just deals with a lot of neck stiffness or even pain. So if I'm sitting down, hopefully I don't catch you like this too often, what you're gonna do is sit up nice and tall like someone's pulling you from a string. And the first move we're gonna do is what we call cervical retractions, or I like to call these chin tucks for short. So as I sit up nice and tall, what I'm gonna do is think about driving the back of my chin towards the back of my throat. And as I do that, I'm thinking about growing my spine long. And this really helps decompress the segments in the cervical spine and that cervical thoracic or that upper thoracic region as well. So we're gonna do a solid 10 to 15 of these. So I'm gonna go chin in, trying to grow tall, bring it back. Pretty simple move. Again, not the most flattering move to do in public. So if you gotta do it in the restroom, that's totally fine. But I'm gonna do a solid 10 of these. I already feel this area already opening up. I got a few cracks right through there. I lost count, so let me do 2 more good ones. Really gonna pack that chin in, growing my spine tall. And let's do 1 more here. Nice. Not a ton of movement, but trust me, it's gonna prime your spine, especially for the next 2 moves. So the second move is the first move on steroids, or it's the next level to it. So what we're going to do next is what we call cervical retraction and extension. And we're gonna do 10 of these. Or I like to just call these chin tuck, look back. So we're going to first do that initial chin retraction, and then we're gonna hold that while we slowly look up towards the ceiling. I hit some tension right here, so I'm not gonna be a hero. I'm gonna touch it and come right back. Let's do a solid 9 more. So chin in, look back. Oh, I can go a little bit further that time. That's green light. That means your body's craving it. You just don't want to rush through the movement. Nice, there's number 3. Beautiful, I can tell I'm going further, and I can feel that this area of my spine is starting to decompress, which is really, really good. Let's do a solid 4 more here. Again, chin tuck, nice and tall, stack that spine, let that head drop back. And then if you can go all the way, you can kind of wiggle your head back and forth. And I just got a free crack right in that area, which is always a good sign, especially if it's not painful. So let's just do 2 more because I already feel this loosening up quite a bit. Again, wiggle. As I'm wiggling, I'm kind of driving my chin up towards the ceiling. And then let's do 1 more here. Wiggle, really getting that full extension. Now, if you've never done this move before, a lot of us, especially we work at desk or we sit for long periods or we just don't train our mobility, we lose that cervical extension where you just run into this blockiness right through here. And if you have that blockiness, that's the first sign of developing like an old lady hump, or we call it a dowager's hump. So this is also a killer routine to try to avoid that as well. So there's our first 2 moves. The third move, I'll show you from the front. We're gonna be doing neck or cervical CARs. A CAR just stands for controlled articular rotation. Think of it as basically taking the full joint through its end ranges of motion. So I'll show a couple reps from the front. We're only gonna do about 5 here because these are more intentional and they take longer to do. So the first thing you're going to do is we call it irradiate the body, or I like to think of I'm a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. You kind of stiffen your whole body. And then from here, we're gonna bring our chin towards our chest. And then once I run out of real estate, we're going to rotate to one side. I'm going my left side here. And then once I run out of real estate, I start to side bend, bring that ear towards the shoulder, and then I'm rounding into that extension. Luckily, we open that up with the last 2 moves. And then we side bend and then rotate back to the beginning. That's half a rep, okay? So now we're just gonna reverse it. So again, stiffen, because as we stiffen the body, we won't compensate through anywhere else, and we're just gonna get that isolated mobility through whatever joint we're training, which happens to be the cervical spine here, okay? And with each rep, I'm trying to see if I can carve more and more range. And this should feel sticky, like you're moving through molasses, or the air is just a lot thicker. But if you have any pain or discomfort, number one rule is don't be a hero. So let me show one more from the front. So if I go down and I start to feel like a kink in my neck, what you do is just work around that space and then go right into that full rep. And then you want to test it and see if you can start to carve more into that range as you do more. Again, as it opens up with more reps, that's green light. It means your body's craving it, but you don't want to go 0 to 100 because then it can start to stiffen on you. Let me show the last two from the side. So again, sitting up nice and tall, irradiate the body. So I'm thinking about driving my fist to the floor, and then I'm going chin down, rotate, side bend into that extension, carving it out. Really nice, slow, controlled, intentional movement. Whip it and reverse it all the way back, and let's do that last one. So really try to carve out the most range as possible. Really driving into that extension, flexion. Well, I love the CARs because they train all the ranges of motion of whatever joint segments you're doing. So there you have it. There's 3 moves that are going to help loosen up your neck or your cervical spine. And this routine was taken right out of my Neck Mobility 101 program. So if you want daily neck mobility routines, or you feel like you struggle with this area the most, then check it out inside my membership. And I also have a 7-day free trial. So you can try it completely free, and I got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you have nothing to lose but the stiffness in your joints. Stay tuned for this week's poll to see what routine we're gonna do next week. Until next time, Mob.